Ludacris' reign at the top is one for the record books, from dominating the Billboard with his hits like Act the Fool, My Chick Bad, Runaway Love, popularizing the dirty South style of rap, which would lead him to 3 Grammy Awards, to taking over the movie screens with his performance in the Fast and Furious series, where his acting talents would net him a Screen Actors Guild Award and a Critics' Choice Award. Ludacris really made it big and influenced a whole bunch of rappers you wouldn't believe. Ludacris' reign on top is legendary, but the road to the top wasn't an easy one, and during his climb to the top, Ludacris had his fair shares of battles, beefs, and rivalries with other hip-hop's greatest. So sit back, hit that subscribe button, and let me tell you how Ludacris became a hip-hop legend.
Oh yeah, I hear the sleigh bells ringing and the jingle bells rock. Santa never sings the jingle bells on my block. I hear he's making that list. Checking the thing twice. I guess it's probably cause I've been naughty, not nice. But I'ma straighten up my act, get up on track, make a couple bucks and buy mama a Cadillac. And then maybe Santa Claus will come around my way, so all the kids on my block can look up and say, hey.
Ludacris was born 1977. However, while he dominated the South, Ludacris was actually born in Champaign, Illinois. At the age of 9, his family would relocate to Atlanta, Georgia, where he would start rapping. His musical career, however, started in school, where he would study music management at Georgia State University. Afterwards, he would land an internship at Atlanta's radio station Hot 97.5, now Hot 107.9, before he would later level up to become a DJ under the name Chris Lover Lover. This would be around the time he would meet Timbaland and even appear on his album Tim's Bio Life from the Basement. He was on the track Fat Rabbit, before he would go on to form his own record label, Distributing the Peace, where he would release his debut studio album Incognito. However, while the album would have minor success, it would be the single What's Your Fantasy that would hit the Billboard's Hot 100, which would then bring the eyes of Def Jam Records by the way of Def Jam South. His album would later be repackaged as Back for the First Time by Def Jam Records, where it would hit number 4 on the Billboard's 200 and would lead his second hit single Southern Hospitality, featuring another hip-hop legend, Pharrell Williams, which peaked at 23 on the Billboard 100. But let's step away from the booths and into Hollywood. In 2001, Ludacris would have his first taste of Hollywood fame when he made the track Area Codes for the soundtrack of the movie blockbuster Rush Hour 2. Now that track wouldn't just live on the soundtrack alone, it would also be on his next upcoming album Word of Mouth, where he would get his first Grammy nomination for the lead single Rollout for the Best Male Rap Solo Performance. But it would be his next single Move Bitch that would get Ludacris his first top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 when it peaked at number 10. Now this would be Ludacris' best performing song at the time, getting many fans to listen to him, me included. This wouldn't change until he hopped on Missy Elliott's feature, Gossip Folks, which would reach number 8 on the Billboard's Hot 100. But that would be the least important thing that happened to Ludacris in 2003, because in that year, Ludacris would change his life forever. Too Fast, Too Furious will release June 6, 2003, making $52.1 million in its first week, being a huge success. Following up from the major hit Fast and Furious, his lineup will have a mix of some of Hollywood's greats like Paul Walker, Tyrese Gibson, Eva Mendes, and Ludacris. That's right, Ludacris would make his second ever movie appearance, playing the character Taj Parker, a close confidant of main character Brian O'Connor. Ludacris would land this role after allegedly Ja Rule, who had a cameo in the first Fast and Furious movie, asked for a ridiculous amount for his, and I quote, star power. Let's just chalk that up to another L in the long list of L's in Ja Rule's career. Ludacris even landed his second Hollywood check when he got on the soundtrack of Too Fast, Too Furious with his single Act the Fool. However, while Ludacris' role in this movie was minor, it would lay the groundwork for something huge. We'll get back to that later. After his gig in Hollywood was over, he would drop his next album, Chicken and Beer, where he would have a single by the name of Stand Up that would get the Kanye West touch, No Diddy. And I don't know what Kanye had in those hands, but it would finally net Ludacris his first #1 single. But this would be the first time that Ludacris would get himself into some hot waters. Ludacris would get sued by the New Jersey group IOF, who claimed that the song used a hook from one of their songs, meaning that Ludacris would be breaking copyright. But after 3 years of court date, a jury found that Ludacris did not violate any copyright laws. However, while this case was ongoing, Ludacris kept himself busy by dropping another album, Splash Waterfalls, where he would receive his first Grammy for his hit single Yeah, featuring Usher and Lil Jon for Best Rap Collaboration. Now this is the time period where Ludacris went on to dominate the next 2 years, dropping hit after hit. 2006, he would drop his next album, Release Therapy, and as Lil Durk would say, there must have been something in the waters cause this album did not have to go this crazy. His single Money Make reached the top of the Billboard, while his other single Runaway Love took its place at #1 of the US Billboard's Hot Rap Tracks. That album was hitting harder than My Mom After School that it won a Grammy in 2007 for Best Rap Album. But it wouldn't just stop there because that album would go on to go #1 on the Billboard's 200 with 309,000 first week sales. It must have been the braids that was holding him back, but just like the saying goes, what goes up must come down. And after that insane run at the top, Ludacris' time came to an end. Let me explain. In 2008, Ludacris dropped the album Theater of Mind, and by Ludacris standards, it performed well, selling 214,000 first week and having names like Lil Wayne, T.I., and T-Pain, but it wasn't enough to hit the #5 spot in the Billboard's Hot 200. But why? Because this time around he had a bit of competition by a little album called 808s and Heartbreak from the same person who helped him get his first #1 spot. That's right, Kanye West, who dropped on the same day. Now I don't know if Ludacris was still working off that 2007 buzz, but clearer minds would have delayed that album. Ask 50 Cent. Actually, don't ask 50 Cent. But there was still a glimmer of hopes as in 2010, Ludacris would hop on the biggest song of the decade. Justin Bieber's Baby would feature Ludacris and would go on to go 12 times platinum, being by far Ludacris' highest performing feature. Little did Ludacris know that his biggest feature might have been his last well-receiving song. Even though his next album, Battle of the Sexes, debuted at #1 on the Billboard, it only sold 137,000, and after all these years, it's only certified gold, being his worst received album. But props to him for still being able to go #1. However, at the turn of the decade, Ludacris was still dropping music, but long gone are the days of his music doing crazy numbers. But while things were looking down for the big head rapper, in May of 2013, something big would happen. He would make his long-awaited return to the Fast and Furious franchise for Fast 5. Now, the first time around where Ludacris was on cast, Fast and Furious was just a movie blockbuster, but now it has evolved into a global hit. Tej Parker had become a mainstay in the lives of many fans around the world, going from making $500,000 on the last appearance in the franchise to netting multi-million payouts every movie, and he's been in all of them since his return. Ludacris went from dominating the radio waves to cashing out on the screens of Hollywood. From humble beginnings as an intern to becoming a Grammy award-winning artist to now being able to say he's one of Hollywood's mainstay. Who would have known that Ludacris would have had such a run? But you know what other artists during this time went on an insane run of their own, dominating the city that birthed hip-hop? None other than Ja Rule. And if you want to know more, just click on the video on the screen, hit the subscribe button, and if you liked it, we got some more bangers on the channel. I'm out.